was recently looking again at a book entitled The Physics of Angels, where the biologist Rupert Sheldrake makes some interesting remarks. He says, consider, for example, the possibility that the sun is conscious. This is not a very far-fetched idea, even in terms of the standard materialistic assumptions of orthodox science. Materialists believe that our own mental activity is associated with complex electromagnetic patterns in our brains. These patterns of electromagnetic activity are generally assumed to be the interface between consciousness and the physical activity of our brains. Consciousness is somehow supposed to emerge from these patterns. But the complex electromagnetic patterns in our brains are as nothing compared with the complexity of electromagnetic patterns in the sun. The sun is a fireball of plasma fueled by nuclear fusion reactions. A plasma is an ionized gas, and it is highly sensitive to electrical and magnetic influences. The sun is the theater of extremely complex rhythmic patterns of electromagnetic activity. If people are prepared to admit that our consciousness is associated with these complex electromagnetic patterns, then why shouldn't the sun have a consciousness? The sun may think. Its mental activity may be associated with complex and measurable electromagnetic events, both on its surface and deeper within. If there's a connection between our consciousness and complex dynamic electromagnetic patterns in our brains, then there's no reason that I can see for denying the possibility of this connection in other cases, and especially on the sun. If the sun is conscious, why not the other stars too? So this is a contemporary account of the possibility, seriously believed by the ancients, that the stars were not mere balls of gas, but were instead angelic beings, radiating their celestial intelligence. And that the rays of the sun and of all of the stars are profoundly consequential. That we are ourselves star-born. Molecules of our bodies, after all, were forged in the furnaces of the stars. And that the rays that perpetually rain down on us remain a point of contact with a numinous world that we can hardly fathom. Now, there's an irony in our time, which is that we, in some ways, imitate the stars in our constant generation of and usage of electricity. We're shining back light from the earth toward the sky, and you see that if you travel in an airplane and you look out at night over the city as you're descending. It can be a beautiful sight. However, there's a consequence. All of that electricity, all of those lights, which are used for the purpose of convenience and comfort and entertainment, among other reasons, the lights together create a glow that lights up the night sky, such that the stars are hardly visible anymore. So our own urban lights, our own artificial lights, have the effect of shutting out the light of the heavens. And no doubt this is something that is evident to all of you, but some of you might have had the experience of leaving the city and going out into the wilderness, out into the desert, and sleeping in a tent and waking up in the night and going out under the stars. And it's just incredible. Because suddenly the sky isn't anymore just a sheet of diffuse, foggy, dim light. It's intensely dark, but speckled with, festooned with, burning, pulsing stars that are arrayed in a vast skyscape that suggests actually a luminous anatomy of the cosmic body. And this was the privilege of our ancestors, to go out and gaze for long hours upon the stars, to see images evoked by their contemplations of that light, to receive waves of astral energy and to assimilate it through the crown, to bask in the grandeur and the enormity of a living universe, and thereby understand that the stars are not merely a concept nor a dimly perceived distant thing, but they are the home that surrounds us on all sides, and in fact we live within them, because the rays that reach us from the stars are spheres that ever widen and mutually overlap, so that when they reach us, it's because we are enfolded in the sphere of their emanating light, light upon light upon light. And so one has a sense under the night sky of swimming, floating in the emanations of myriad angelic beings who together form one cosmic being of light. And we are all particles of that great being, revivified constantly by our communion with the luminous intelligence, the luminous mind, the luminous body that surrounds us, and thereby sustained and guided.